Little Lonsdale Street, and that's the main tram terminus outside Melbourne Central. The tram terminus straddles Swanston Street, and we've got the State Library in front of us. And to the right is the Queen Victoria, not hospital, but it's the old Queen Victoria Hospital site, which is now a retail precinct. And just get those girls out of the way with their trolleys. And the State Library, luckily for me, for the last couple of years, the State Library's been undergoing a facelift and a clean-up, and thank goodness the scaffolding is down finally. It's just in time for me to walk past with my little camera. So yeah, there's been scaffolding and all sorts of works going on. The government, a few years ago, the government, as we approached these hipsters with their skateboards, their scooter. Oh dear. The state government decided to spend a bit of money doing some maintenance on the state library, and thank God they did, because the state library it wasn't built in one hit. It's evolved over the years, and that those columns are actually add-ons. This whole front part to the state library actually wasn't part of the original building, actually. But what was part of the original building, I believe, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, and you can Google me and tell me I'm wrong in the comments, and I can't tell you who that horse belongs to. I decided not to film the plaque for that statue. Um, but the State Library was built with a glass roof. And in the late 1890s, or was it 1920s, the roof started leaking. It started leaking, and people would be sitting in the reading room, which is silent, and there'd be water dripping onto their scribbles, and so it was covered up with a copper roof for decades. And suddenly, a decision was made, money was found, and that roof was opened up. It was all taken off, and you can see there the State Library of Victoria is temporarily closed. They've done all that work over the last 3 to 4 or 5 years, and nobody can go in and enjoy it. But uh, but the reading room. We're just looking northwest there over the future State Library um, railway station as part of the Melbourne Metro Tunnel project. So I'll just chop myself off there. You can Google about the State Library and the roof and all that sort of stuff, and there will be pictures there. But as a separate project, I am actually filming, to the best of my ability, the works that are going on, and all that area has been raised and acquired by the state government. All the buildings that were on that corner were demolished, and underneath that crane, I think there's two. Underneath those cranes is the works for the new State Library station, which will be the Metro Rail Loop. So the Metro Rail Loop will run from in front of the camera there, straight down Swanston Street, underneath Swanston Street. It'll run east to west, no, north to south through the city, and go out one end at Domain near the Shrine of Remembrance. It'll come out the other end. It'll go through Parkville, and we're going to actually walk past the Parkville station in this video, and it'll come out at Kensington. It'll reappear on the surface, and I made an effort to stop there briefly. You can see now. Here's this is
Welcome to
Albert
this
Park
walking
Golf
life. This
Course.
morning
I'm
we're in
standing
Melbourne,
on
Australia, and today
a
we're
mound that was
walking from
built
the centre of Melbourne,
especially for the Melbourne
starting
Grand
at
Prix.
Victoria University, Flinders
That
Lane
video
campus,
was not
and we're
filmed for
walking to
this
RMIT
particular video.
University,
It's actually from my
and then we're
Albert
going to the
Park
Nova Cinema in
walk
Carlton,
video,
and from
and I've
Nova
also done a
Cinema to
separate one
Melbourne University,
walking around
and
the
then
road in
on
the
to and
morning.
finishing at the Queen
I
Victoria
haven't finished
Market.
editing that yet. I'm just trying to trip it up
Let's go.
so that I can speed up the vision
Some
in
of the
the edit
institutions that I'll be
and make
featuring
out
on
that it's
this
actually
walking
a
live
Grand Prix
are Victoria University, Melbourne
car going
University,
around.
RMIT
Anyway,
University,
and we're going to look down La Trobe Street there to the
and of
west.
course,
If you
I can
travel on the
cater for
tram
any
all the
special
way down La
request.
Trobe Street,
A
you'll
lot of
come
information
to
about safety in Melbourne, how to
Melbourne
live
West
in
Police
Melbourne, how to
Station.
find accommodation
It'll
in
take
Melbourne,
you
how to
over
travel
the
safely
bridge,
around
over the
Melbourne.
railway lines to Etihad Stadium and Harbour Esplanade and the Docklands. Now, again, I just want to show that there's many different ways to get around Melbourne. So we're going through one of my favourite entrances to the RMIT City campus. Normally in this building for the past, well, for many years, in building 16 there has been a student help centre. There is no public access in Swanston Street there at the moment because they've been renovating that room, God knows why. And building 24 uh, has been an enrolment help centre uh, at the start of each semester, but for some reason they decided to spend a bit of money on this courtyard. I don't know why, because no one ever uses it, even before COVID. But they've tricked it up with some seats, which no one's allowed to sit on because of COVID. They've put in some transparent some transparent furniture where you can't get any shade, so you're going to get sunburnt if you decide to sit there. I just decided to point the camera up because I wanted to get a bit of sky and the vines on the roof. And one of my favourite shot techniques is to twist the camera around, looking at the sky. And I'm just going to check the microphone. So we're 45 minutes in, and it's 7:15 here in the evening at the moment. Um, uh, so RMIT started off as a trades school specifically, and when I was coming out of high school, it was still mainly trades, but it was offering accounting courses, as I recall, and it's evolved into a specialist um, media school, journalism, creative writing, communications degrees. Architecture has been its backbone for decades. So um, when they remodeled the the Swanston Street frontage and built a huge tower on the opposite side of Swanston Street, which isn't in this video. It'll be another video in the future. I haven't filmed it yet. But you can imagine all the RMIT alumni, the architects lining up to put their hand up to say, I want to do that job. I want to show off what I learned at RMIT, the latest techniques. Now, they tricked up this area too. This area of Bowen Street has been redeveloped and done up in a big way over the last few years. Um, it, RMIT was just a set of very bland buildings for decades, very bland. Concrete, very brutal architecture. And yes, that door is not going to open.
Not open?
COVID. I was going to walk up and through. So I'm sorry this vision is so boring because I couldn't go through. I was actually going to go up to the first level to one of the cafe balconies on the first and second floor because it is good to look at. But no, all the buildings are closed. And in about 20 minutes, in a future 20 minutes in this video, we are going to actually find a building closed. And I stuffed up the camera with the battery. It was the first time I got caught where the camera stopped filming, and I had about 15 minutes of footage that never recorded, including a great conversation with an RMIT staffer who explained that the building was closed and I had to turn around and go back. I couldn't walk through, but them's the breaks. So I decided not to walk down to that door, but that's where I was going to walk inside, just to give a sense of what a great job they've done with opening up the buildings to the street frontage on the Swanston Street side. This is the internal road, Bowen Street. This used to be a city thoroughfare, but it's basically RMIT property now. And you can see that they've tricked it up, tried to make it a bit more visually interesting. It's a very old building in front of us right now. It houses the creative industries, the media students, the film students. I've done a few auditions in that building, student films. I forget what other type of students are in there. But they've also got information management courses. So a lot of they've got a very renowned library postgraduate and undergraduate course here. A lot of data scientist type courses. A full mix. The camera just swung around quickly, but just to the right of the camera in that building is the student radio studio. A lot of students like to get involved with that. It was graduation day somewhere at RMIT that day, so there's some a couple of people that were attending that. Normally RMIT, the past couple of years, they've hired out Etihad Stadium and had a huge, massive graduation ceremony with thousands of students. They get it all done in a couple of days or 2 or 3 days. But the other reason they have it at Etihad Stadium is because the Asian students, whether they're living in Australia, living in Melbourne, studying in Melbourne, or here as international students, the whole family, comes to Melbourne for the graduation. It's a huge deal because the Asian culture is. I wouldn't have to. I wouldn't have to tell you. It's huge on study, and they really revel in their success and their achievements. It's giving you a sense of like how empty is this campus. All right, it's the first week in November, and no students were on campus during the whole year at any campus in Australia. It was all by remote learning, much like everywhere else, and there's no one there. Normally, this would be even after classes are finished, after exams, there'd be some sign of life. All the staff would be working from home. There'd still be activity going on, but we can sound ready. Well, I'm going to pause here to have dinner. And we'll return shortly. I've changed over. I'll see you after dinner. Thanks for joining me. Today is Sunday, the 7th of March, and I last spoke to you on the 24th of February. So I had a few things to attend to, got a bit distracted. But here we are continuing on with this commentary. We've got about another... we've got about another card there. You can see those people appeared magically out of nowhere. Just over 2 hours to go on this video, and we're finishing the RMIT portion of the video. I'll just quickly revisit the strategy, the idea behind commentary for this video. But this is the first video where I am commentating on the footage on the screen as you're watching it. Normally what I do is talk about how I go about creating these videos, different creative choices, functional, operational choices I've made, why I'm going where I'm going, to explain, how what sort of thought processes and what sort of strategies go into creating these videos. But this one I want to, I've decided, because it's 3 hours long, this video, I figured, well, let's just do the basics where I just talk about where I am. So at the moment we're in Victoria Street, and the RMIT campus stretches quite a significant area. The university has gobbled up quite a few surrounding buildings, and there's student accommodation. We're about to go around the corner of building 51. I did some subject in there 2 years ago for a master's that I won't be able to finish for various reasons that I won't go into here. Masters of Information Management. It was a great course. And so in Orr Street here, the reason I thought I'd go here once I got off the campus proper, and again, we're going from Vic Uni to RMIT via the Nova Cinema in Carlton to the Melbourne University Parkville campus. Around the other side into Royal Parade, we're going to swing past the Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre and go back to RMIT and then to the Queen Vic Market and finish off the Flagstaff Station. So here's the reason I decided to choose this particular route and street was not just to show a few backlane streets, but that's a student accommodation there, Uni Lodge, and that's those international student accommodation places are becoming more and more prevalent, especially around RMIT. There's demand for that type of housing, or there's a supply of it, and they're creating the demand. This laneway I'd just like to walk down for no other reason than I could. Just to show you, Melbourne is very famous for its laneways, and these laneways are typical of the inner suburbs of Melbourne, because as Melbourne was expanding and growing, and you've got to remember that buildings and residences needed rear laneway access. Now I'm going to no, I won't interrupt myself. There's going to be a quick edit. We're going to go backwards for some reason. I'll tell you in a second. But the laneways presented, functional access for milkmen and garbage disposal that weren't possible via the front door. So a lot of these laneways and these bluestone paved laneways, some of them are disappearing actually, because they're getting ripped up in new developments and not replaced. But please, to developers, if you're listening, please leave them alone. It's part of our city's history. Now, the reason the camera magically went backwards is because this was the first and hopefully only video where my camera's battery ran out, and I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it go off. So far, I've been quite lucky that when it does go off, I normally hear it, or I haven't walked too far. But this one, on this occasion, I actually walked an extra distance all the way down to about to turn left. If you see the doorway there, the RMIT logo, I walked all the way in there and had a great conversation with the people inside who wouldn't let me go any further, and I captured all that. But I came back out and saw that the camera battery had died, so I had to go back down. I decided to go retrace my steps down to the laneway, and good thing that doesn't happen too often. But I decided not to walk too much around the the true RMIT campus. I just decided to take the route that you've already seen and come out Bowen Street and go up Victoria Street. But come over here, and this is a good example of RMIT. It's a very extensive campus, and it's a shame that because of COVID, that building was student-only access. My plan was to walk through that building to Cardigan Street, Grattan Street, I can't remember, Grattan Street maybe, but I couldn't do it, so I had to retrace my steps, and this is the second time I had to do that, and this is where I got up to when I found out the camera, the camera battery had died. But just to also give you a sense of, the skyline, trying to give you a sense of place, the sort of views. The octagonal building directly on the left centre of frame is the old Ansett Australia building. Those guys where they're walking that building, they're walking outside of is a student lounge type facility. This building. RMIT are very tight with their security. You can get into that building but you need to have specific permission. So if your course doesn't allow you access to that building, you have to go to RMIT security and specifically ask them to add your ID card, and they'll tee it up that you can have access. Now, you'll have seen this footage before. This little clip has already played at the start of this video around the Vic Uni campus. I made a decision that I'd put this clip in at each campus visited, and after I depart the campus, I'd put this in, because what I've noticed is that a lot of my videos, people are skipping through them because, g'day walkers, sorry to interrupt your viewing experience of the YouTube content creator commentary for RMIT, but I just have to pop up and remind you that this commentary is only for RMIT. Now, if you want to see the whole, hear the whole commentary for the video that is 3 hours long, covering Victoria University, RMIT University, and Melbourne University, and also includes a walk through Queen Victoria Market and finishes at Flagstaff Station. You can either watch the whole 3 hour video as well as the YouTube creator commentary, which is a separate 3 hour video, or you can watch each of those commentaries for each of those other two universities. You can enjoy those separately as well, which I guess, if you're pressed for time, the Vic Uni one is only 15 minutes long, so maybe you might want to take those in, take that into consideration. Thank you for listening to this commentary. Thank you for stopping by to participate as a viewer for this channel content. Please subscribe. Please consider making a contribution by way of PayPal, which will help me upgrade to a Sony Z vlogging camera, which will change the viewer experience in ways that we all cannot imagine. It'll improve it, which is why I've got that a donate button on this channel. It's not to make money, not to earn a living. It's just simply to upgrade from an Olympus digital handheld camera to a Sony Model Z vlogging camera. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Thanks for watching this video. The journey of 1,000 steps starts with a walk. If you and your child are considering studying in Australia, I hope you'll share that journey and that walk with This Walking Life. So subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.